Now, whether you are in your first, second, third, or in my case, fifth year of school outside of high school, or even if you are in high school, I wanted to share some of the tips I've learned along the way to take care of your mental health while balancing school, your hobbies, your social life, basically some of the things that I do to keep myself in check and in a good headspace. So none of these tips are in any specific order. They're just some of the things that I've developed over the years that have kind of stuck for me. And of course, different things work for different people. So my goal with this video is hopefully you can find like one thing that perhaps resonates with you. So let's jump right into it. So the first thing I want to talk about is incorporating some kind of movement into your day, whether that be a workout, a walk outside, inside. I definitely love my nature walks. You can even go with a friend, listen to a podcast on that walk, call a family member. I tend to call my mom all the time on my walks. And just getting that movement in releases endorphins, changes up your environment, and it's honestly an accomplishment as well. So if you're ever feeling like kind of overwhelmed, anxious, a ton of assignments coming up or lectures to do, a great way to gain some perspective is simply by changing your environment and taking in some of that fresh air on your nature walk, or perhaps grinding it out at the gym and kind of taking your mind off of school for a bit so that you can come back even stronger. This leads me right into my next point, the environment in which you do your work in which you live in, your room, if you're living away from school as I am. Keep it tidy, keep it clean, and let it have some resemblance of you, your sense of style, things like that, so you feel at home. And specifically, try to keep your room nice and tidy and organized. I tend to sweep my room, wipe down my desk and things like that once a week on weekends. And in terms of clothes, I try to put them away one touch rule. As soon as I have my hands on clothes, I'm not shoving them on my bed. I'm putting them away where they belong or into the laundry. Also do your laundry like once a week. It keeps just everything in order. And when your environment is like under control and clean, your mind follows that. If your environment is cluttered, I find my mind is cluttered. I am stressed, I'm anxious, so why not just take control over that aspect of our lives? My next point is do little small things that will kind of bring joy to your life. For me, those small things might be lighting a candle in the evening or spraying a different scent in my room to uplift my mood, or even things such as wearing something that I feel confident in and that I like. And another good point is decorating for the season, even if it's just like a few tiny little decorations. For example, at Christmas, I have a little Christmas tree that I set up with a few Christmas decorations around it. And something that I have recently been implementing is having a tea in the morning or even before I go to bed to kind of set the tone, to calm me down. And it's just really nice drinking out of that mug that I really like. And my last little thing that I've also been implementing is playing lo-fi music in the background. It calms me down so much. I tend to put it on in the morning, first thing, right when I get up. It's the perfect start to my day. I try not to go on my phone first thing in the morning. I just put on that music and it allows me to have a gradual ease into my day, if that makes sense, without all of those different notifications and messages bombarding me and then going right into my schoolwork and having that also be a huge stress. I try to start off my day just listening to that chill, calming music, planning out my day one thing at a time, and then jumping into it. Next up on the list kind of goes with that last point, plan your days, schedule your days. On Sundays, I always take a look at my full schedule for the week. I plan when I'm doing what lecture I may be going to or doing on my own time, when I have my labs, when I can schedule in a workout, because that is so important. So anything important, I kind of just schedule in there so that all of that stress can kind of go away and I know I can rely on my past self during the week. Next up, a huge way in which I feel less alone and less anxious is by being a part of many different clubs and communities within your school environment. So when I was at McMaster, for me that was joining the McMaster Mindfulness Club, being a part of my religious club, being a big part of the gym community, teaching spin classes, stuff like that. In those places, I felt like I really belonged there, and that sense of belonging and those kind of relationships and friendships that you develop along the way help so much in keeping you in check, keeping a smile on your face, and even having somewhere to go when you need that change of environment and de-stressor from school. So the next thing I wanted to talk about, they kind of go hand in hand, journaling and gratitude. So journaling, you can journal about how you're feeling, if you're feeling anxious, if you're feeling stressed, even if you're not, if you're feeling great and what may have caused that feeling for you. Anything at all, I find it really helps to just, whatever's going on in your head, throw it right down on paper, which leads me into the second portion, which is gratitude. So you can write this down, or you can just think of it in your head, or go tell a friend. Think of some things you're grateful for, because a lot of the time in university, you might be stressed because of perspective. You might have 10,000 things to do. You might feel very overwhelmed, behind. You feel like you're not eating healthy or something, or like whatever it might be. Just expressing one little tiny bit of gratitude can completely alter your mindset, your way of thinking, so that everything you are doing and have to do just comes so much easier and you're no longer in a negative state of mind. It takes a lot of practice to develop a thought process of gratitude, but trust me, it does really pay dividends. So my next tip, I don't even know what number we're on right now, is perspective changes. So I remember a lot of the time, specifically during exam seasons or midterm seasons. Actually, yes, midterm seasons, when class is still going on, but you have to study for your midterms at the same time. I remember that is probably when I feel the most overwhelmed. And I feel like, oh my goodness, there's too much. I can't do this all. There's no way I can, pass all of these, get good marks on all these. And I want to just stop you right there. Whenever you get into those kind of thought processes, I want you to reframe your mindset. So with regards to reframing your mindset, think about if you're going to even remember this day or this feeling in 5 years from now, in 10 years from now. If you get a 90 or an 80 on the test, if it's really going to affect the bigger picture in, getting that degree or whatever it might be. Because if you are similar to myself and you always have had such high standards of grades, it can be a little bit difficult sometimes to kind of tone it down when you know you have to do like so many different tasks and unfortunately can't give your 100% to all of them simply due to time commitments. So sometimes you gotta just reframe your mindset and be like, okay, this isn't really gonna matter all so much if I get a 5% difference in the long run, and there's no point in being super stressed and overwhelmed over this because I am gonna get through it. Positive self-talk. And with that also comes, what would you tell a friend in that situation? If you're super anxious and overwhelmed, what would you tell your friend in that exact situation? Because we're oftentimes a lot more critical and a lot less forgiving to ourselves than our friends, our closest friends and family members, whom, we notice all the things they are doing, but for some reason when it comes to ourselves and introspecting, it's a lot harder to be as forgiving. So give yourself a break sometimes. All right, you guys, so that's gonna kind of wrap up the video. I really hope you can take something away from this video, whether it be reminding yourself of a habit that you may have had in the past or something that you want to try and implement. in those times when you are stressed, or even to prevent stress from occurring in the first place. Because I hear you. University, whether you're doing your first degree, your second degree, your third degree, it's stressful. It can be stressful. It can be overwhelming, especially when comparing yourself to others. So don't do that. So yes, just take it one step at a time, one day at a time, one breath at a time. You're doing your best, and that's all you can really ask for at the end of the day. Take some of these habits, implement them, and see if it changes the way you are perceiving things. And with all that being said, good luck, you got this, and I will see you in the next video.